Okay. While we still have people coming in, I will start. Oh. Ekule awon oremi. Mind my pronunciation. I will start with a land acknowledgement. The Harvard Graduate School of Design is located on the traditional and ancestral land of the Massachusetts. The original inhabitants of what is now known as Boston and Cambridge. We pay respect to the people of the Massachusetts tribe, past and present, and honor the land itself, which it remains sacred to the Massachusetts people. The school also recognizes the work of the Harvard University Native American program in cultivating the relationship that have led to the creation of this acknowledgement. Thank you. So, before I start, I have a long list of people to thank for making this happen, so bear with me. It's gonna be a lot of names, but every time you hear a name, you can just shout and mind my bad pronunciation. I like to start by recognizing the people who have helped put this conference together. It takes a village. First with our sponsors, the Harvard Graduate School of Design, the Loeb Fellowship, Black Space Urbanist Collective, Studio and Projects, Black Folk in Design, the Graham Foundation, my fellow co-chairs who have been running around, Kai, Dora, and MJ, the contributors and the volunteers. I will list your first names so we don't go too long. Taylor, Ebony, Ami, Esmeralda, Sakiko, Yebwork, Abebe, Beth, Delilah, Esther, Teger, Kan, Muha, Malaika, Miriama, Kiki, Lily, Curry, Justin, Tyler, Bolade, Gabe, and Ala. And we would like to give special thanks to Erica and Paige and Kat and the whole GSD team behind the scenes. This planning has been happening since November last year, October, more likely. And finally, the organizers would like to extend a special thank you to Nefi Walker, founder of the Black Home located in Brooklyn, New York, for her generous support of this year's Black Home Design Conference and for her lifelong commitment to the Black Home. Thank you. Okay. To start you off, my name is Toby Fabule. You've probably received many numerous emails from me, especially the panelists, so you know me by email. I stand here before you today in my mother's dress. As you can, if everyone saw me running around, it's quite long, so I am short. A kaftan, remembering her presence inside these very walls, recollections from this past me when I graduated from the GSD. This dress and many other items I have liberated from her wardrobe are little tokens of home for me. You know what I mean. The smell, the feel, and all the memories these clothing hold are home. In November 2022, a group of Black students sat down to think about the theme of this conference. We thought far and wide. A long 3-hour workshop, they were long, recalling themes from the previous Black in Design conference, including which were designing for resistance, building coalitions, Black futurism, Black matter, Black in design. We did have a big task ahead of us because every theme was a coined term. A lot of brainstorming had to be done. We asked ourselves a couple of questions. What's the Black home? What's the Black cuisine? What's Black relationship to place and land? What is Black rest and wellness? What is Black ritual and practices? What is Black joy? And what is Black celebration? These questions brought memories of home to me, specifically cooking in the kitchen with my mother in this dress as we get ready for church on a Sunday. Sharing stories with my sister is the overwhelming question we ended up with: what is the Black home? What does home look like to us? Its meaning so contextual, but also so universal. What makes the Black home, or more specifically for me in this moment, why does this piece of clothing remind me so much of home? The fact that we had so many questions solidified a theme where you ask questions to answer with questions to think about questions. And it brought us to the questions: what is the legacy of the Black home? How do we make the Black home? How do we continue the Black home? How do we represent the Black home? What is Black home and queerness? How do we imagine the Black home? How do we protect the Black home? How do we sustain the Black home? And how do we archive the Black home? There's a lot of home in this. These turned into our topics for panels and workshops and opportunities to delve into the multiplicity of the Black home, to bring together practitioners from different fields, which I'm very excited for, of design, art, planning, and to converse about the idea of the Black home. This year's conference intends to leverage the real and imagined spaces of the Black home as a starting point for nuanced conversations about the experience through North America, Africa, and the diaspora. The goal for all of you, is a big task, is to establish a broader understanding and alternate ways of experiencing the Black home in an effort to reinforce the ideals of the Black communities living across the country in the larger diaspora, so that we can plan for the future, which is also a big task. It is an amazing experience to have you all here with me. I've gone around saying my name multiple times to people, and we're exploring the meaning through multidisciplinary panels, workshops this weekend. We want you to leverage these conversations and think outside the box. Imagine together, think. Like I said, questions beget questions, which is what this theme is meant to be. And I am honored to welcome you to the fifth biannual Black in Design Conference, the Black Home. To go. So me and the co-chairs have a theme for every day. Today is Friday, and it is on Fridays we celebrate the Black home. Before we do that, I'm going to introduce the dean. Now I'd like to introduce the Harvard Graduate School of Design's dean and Joseph Louis Third Professor of Architecture, Sarah M. Whiting, who joined the GSD as dean in July 2019. She is a design principal and co-founder of WW Architecture. Dean Whiting's research is broadly interdisciplinary with the built environment at its core, an expert in architectural theory, politics, economics, society, and how the built environment shapes the nature of the public life. She has been here for 2 conferences. This is my first conference, so I'd like you to give a hand to our dean.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you, Toby. So I don't think there was quite enough applause for the 4 organizers, the 4 co-chairs. So I'm going to list their names once more. Hang on a minute. I'm going to list their names once more, and then I think you could give a little bit more noise. So Toby Fabule, MJ Johnson, Kai Walcott, and Dora Mugabre. So as Toby said, this is actually my 3rd Black in Design conference, which is sort of hard to believe. 3 out of 5 is pretty good. The first Black in Design conference that I attended was shortly after I started becoming dean. I'm not sure whether one becomes dean. In any case, it was shortly after I started here as dean. That was the Black Futurism conference in 2019. And it was, for me, an incredibly important experience. It was big. It had a lot of people. It was one of the first times I felt like I was a minority in the GSD. And it was an extraordinary event. The part that I remember maybe the most is a small moment, and not a programmed one. The coffee was late, which led to a little bit of chaos. So it was around 10:30 in the morning, and people were getting a little antsy. The coffee was supposed to be there, I think, at 8. Paige Johnson got coffee from like every place in Cambridge. And the line for the coffee, which was in the porticos, went all the way to here. And it was one of the best moments of the conference because you actually had a moment to talk to a bunch of other people in line. And so I talked to the person in front of me, the person behind me. The person in front of me had come down from NJIT. The person behind me was from Oklahoma. And to me, that was just astonishing. This conference brings people from all over. I think, MJ, you already figured that out and when you were warming up the crowd. And that's more so than almost any other conference here. And having these moments in the conference of, maybe the length of time that was for the coffee break was a little longer than anticipated, it ended up being an incredibly important moment for building community. And I think that's something that is extraordinary about the format of this conference, the combination of the panels and the workshops. It's really smart. as a format. And I really do want to thank the 4 organizers for getting this together and figuring out the right people to bring, some of whom were going to come here anyway, apparently. So, you know, tapping people who are already in the know. And then setting up a schedule across these couple days that will allow for you to listen to really important panels, digest the information, and talk about it. Because the conferences where you come, you hear someone talk, and then you leave, that's not as helpful. So I really do encourage everyone to take the time in these pause moments, in between moments, and moments with alcohol, Jermaine, to get to know one another and have good conversations. So that conference really marked me. The second one that I attended was the one 2 years ago, the Black Matter Conference, which was done online, which was hard because so much of this conference is about connecting with people. But it still was an extraordinary conference. There were amazing panels, amazing people, and it worked out, even though it was online and constrained by the fact that we were all in COVID hell and trying to make our way through it. This conference also has some COVID tinges. We've lost our keynote speaker for this evening. I promise I'm not going to go on too long, despite the fact that we don't have Corey here because of COVID. But I think it is incredibly important that it's back in person, and the being in person, being in community is a huge part of this. I'm struck by the theme of the Black home. I'm struck that it actually didn't come up sooner as a theme. It may have taken you guys a while to parse it and find it as a topic, but it's a really brilliant topic. I think both in the idea of what home is, especially after these years of COVID when we experienced home in a very intense way, difficult way for many, but still a very intense way, and trying to find a way of recognizing the importance of home after we've been released from that sort of COVID experience of home, I think is well timed. But I also think that understanding Black housing and the challenge of the value of home for the Black community, especially in the US where home prices have been less valued within Black communities, where redlining and other practices have led to a different kind of real estate market, I think is also something to recognize. So the value of the inside of the home, the value of the communities that are created, but also the recognition that the Black home has been at a disadvantage in some communities is an important part of the lineup of the conference. So mainly, I want to say this is a very important conference to me. I think it's a very important conference to the GSD. I think we're honored to host this conference here every other year. I think it renders visible the Black design community in a way that few other things do. That's particularly important here at the GSD and at Harvard, given the Supreme Court decision that we had to deal with earlier this year in June. And so I'm really grateful to all of the people who organized it for making this happen here. And I look forward to joining you in conversation, hearing where things go, and hopefully meeting some new people in the coffee line. Thank you.
Hi, I'm back again. So, Corey Henry was meant to be here to introduce our exhibition, but he's not here, and I will send him my very much thanks. And hope he
but he's
feels
here
better.
in spirit.
That's true. Okay. I can.
Okay. Ekabo. This means welcome in Yoruba, but also echoing Toby's words earlier, ekule, which literally means good keeping the home. You know, the homes we're currently keeping, no matter how small, the ones that were kept on our behalf in places within and beyond reach, and the temporal one that we have constructed as we're all gathered here, ekule. Our elders taught us to always give thanks and gratitude when due, so we say thank you to Dora Mugerwa, Kai Walcott, Corey Henry, Leonard Palmer, Dan Borelli, David Zimmerman Stewart, the entire exhibition team, and bid planning chairs, your work and words matter deeply to us. Over the past decade, home has been a space in constant flux, always a feeling amplified by the food, laughter, music, and that collective understanding and love for being Black. It could be anywhere as long as I have my people with me, and my carrier bag is filled with objects that I have collected and inherited, things that remind me of the love that raised me, inspired me, and continues to preserve my spirit. I feel the most at home in Lagos, or simply when I'm surrounded by other kind souls. And through my work, I continue to explore themes and methods of homing, commoning, and remembering. The memories, objects, and the loving atmospheres projected from one simple phone call from a loved one is home. At some point, my HBCU, Morgan State University, was home. Then the GSD, because I encountered friendly faces that walked through it all with me on the days that never ended, and all the other times rest and play found us. And now, surrounded by all of you, it feels like a warm homecoming.
Home is a complicated word, as I have mentioned before. It is hard to describe, especially for me. As a third culture kid from within Nigeria, home is very different. It's changing, it's adapting, it's moving different places. I have found many homes from Nigeria. I've lived in 4 different states growing up as a child. I have also lived in 4 different states in the US now, which are everywhere. I also went to boarding school, which changes the game. Shuffling through between cities every 6 weeks in a year, 1 suitcase, you have to pack all your stuff in 1 suitcase, staying places for 6 weeks. I often brag about how I can fit my life in 2 suitcases, especially this past May when I had to move, which was stressful. So home to me is not about the space, but the stories that are associated with the spaces. As a spatial designer and analyst, these stories started to become my one connection through time. The GSD became my home in the past 2 years, with the good, the bad, the stress, everything you experience in the home. These spaces, these walls have morphed into a collection of stories that will transcend time.
That desire to center and reveal the world of you, as Frantz Fanon expressed in this place, was real and urgent. We could say it came in a dream. This led to Stories We Should Tell in spring 2022, a series of conversations, workshops, and an exhibition which centered the work of African creatives on the continent and across the diaspora in design discourse. The exhibition explored the themes of space, body, and spirituality in the work of 11 artists and creators from 7 African countries, such as Huda Tayob, Tandiwe Muriu, Ngendo Mukai, and including one of this year's panelists, Ekwa Msangi. Now in this composition, Stories That Take Me Home projects those atmospheres from home both far and near in this cozy space at the GSD.
It is a cozy space. It is right by the elevator. So please walk by, take a seat. There are stools there which are designed by us. Take a seat, experience the feelings of home. It was really important for us to emphasize the role that objects play as portals that carry us to fragments of time or conjure feelings. From our past, some of these objects are not necessarily from Black origin. We have attached different meanings to them. With objects, we illuminate the vibrant tapestry of the Black culture's rituals and traditions. The parlor, which is the main theme in this exhibition, is the special room that receives you after a long day from work, sets the warmest atmosphere for friends and extended families to come and visit.
Do you remember looking outside the window or hearing neighbors come home, or the loud bangs when there's someone at the gate? Standing in the veranda on a cool summer night, you see the streaks of moonlight on the exterior walls. You remember that woven rug that your mother taught you how to sweep with a broom, or the crackle of oil right before she dropped the onion in and the whole house was filled with its aroma. And all those pictures in frames of all sizes, archiving all the wins, even the most mundane ones.
We believe the homes of the past and present will shape the future. For the digital components, we collected photos from students here at the GSD, so they're people with your families, they're so cute. and also collaborated with an interior designer, artist, and curator, Zoe Osborne. Her work and her design practice, Mahogany Design Commune, centers image and memory of the Black home, especially in the Caribbean. In Zoe's words, Granny always placed her picture frames high. I would gaze at her soft eyes smiling back at me on the wall while I waited for her to fix us our afternoon Milo tea. My eyes moved to the dominoes on the table. I shifted my hand while trying to keep my elbows from sticking to her plastic tablecloth. Trying not to move the tablecloth and the domino games with my arms. Her animation, titled My Grandmother's Dining Room, captures this and it renders the manifestation of Black living across the diaspora. Zoe couldn't join us here today for this weekend, but please show some love. Check out her work on her website, tag her on IG, tag us too.
Funny enough, I just realized I didn't remember to introduce myself. My name is Sumaya Sumade Raji, and Toby and I both represent Our Lab, a practice that we actually started while at the GSD. So after this, we would wait by the exhibition for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and we would love to chat and hopefully answer any questions you may have. But to end this, we would leave you with yet another Yoruba greeting, Ekile, which means greet the home. We hope that while you're here, you take some time to pause at the exhibition, at a nice coffee shop, or whatever site of comfort you discover, to greet the homes that have found you, the ones still coming, even the ones we have been dreaming of.
Thank you. So before we get to the drinks, it's called Beer and Drums. And the last 3 semesters, we have been promising drums. But now we have drums. So I invite you all to please get up, dance, enjoy. Then we'll walk out to the yard. Thank you. Okay, that was the first half. Now, I'm gonna need y'all to get up. Since y'all were sitting down for the drumming, we're gonna walk to our alcohol. And we're all gonna dance behind the drummers, and you're gonna enjoy yourself. It's a procession, so please dance, move your body. We have some live music and food out there for you guys. So I'm gonna let them start, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you guys so much.